So I know I'm a bit late to this show, but boy am I glad I'm now fully caught up. I've just finished watching episode 5 of Dexter Resurrection, and we're now starting to see that the plot is thickening and the deeper themes of heartbreak, family, and that moral code that often gets spoken about is now starting to rise to the surface even more. With Harrison and his father being a lot more different to what Dexter originally thought, Dexter and Mia also showing disparities in their beliefs and motives, and the line that Leon Prater walks treading on both sides of the law getting more of a focus. This episode developed the plot forward in a way which shows that the second half of the season is going to be even stronger. So with that, let's dive into the episode and break down all that there was to take away from it. Here is Dexter Resurrection episode 5 ending explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Dexter. A core theme of this season has been strong relationships and troubled relationships with family members. We've seen it with Dexter and him having this vision of his father trying to guide him through the decisions that he's making. We've also seen it with Dexter and him wanting to be there for Harrison in understanding that he's a reason as to why he's ended up the way that he has. We've seen it with Mia and the fact that her and her family didn't speak following her killing her mother's abusive boyfriend. And we've also seen it with Leon Prater and the fact that his parents died when he was younger. This is something that I'm going to get into separately in his section, but I think there's more than meets the eye with that. But then, as well as that, on the flip side, we're seeing all of these bad relationships contrasted by one singular household, the Kamaras, the ones that live above Dexter, which I also think is symbolic of the light and dark. You've got the Kamaras' home, which is filled with love, which is on the street level, where light can enter and people are welcome, and Dexter, somebody who has all of these secrets and is hiding who he truly is in this season because he's pretending to be Red, but was also hiding from his son, has been in the basement. This episode started and concluded in the basement, showing the progression of Dexter and Harrison's relationship. It started with Dexter seeing that himself and Harrison weren't actually as similar as what he thought they both were, in the sense that Dexter explained how he got a release and a sense of freedom when he killed. But Harrison has the complete opposite. He feels like a prisoner in his own mind and like he can't escape the ghosts of the people that he'd killed, which is what we saw with Ryan and also his father when he believed that he was dead. The humanity, humility, and the goodness in Harrison is something that Dexter doesn't have, and he recognized that he needed that within his life in order to make sure that innocent people didn't get hurt. You could tell that there was a sense of relief in Harrison when Dexter took the watch off of him because the ticking fell silent and he let out an exhale that got a large focus. So Dexter acting like a father in this weird way was the first act of them getting closer. The second part of them becoming closer was during the ending of the episode when Harrison found out that Dexter planted Ryan's watch in Mia's souvenir box and framed her as the killer of Ryan, ultimately putting him out of the firing line from the detectives. So it seems like Dexter has seen certain relationships over the course of his time in New York and recognized that he needs his son with him. Dexter's vision of his father even said to him, she was never the answer, it was Harrison when he was chasing Mia and it turned out that her code was a lie. So Dexter has now recognized how much he needs his son in his life and that he won't try to mold him into something that he's not because it only causes damage. They both recognize that they were all that they had, so we're gonna see the both of them even closer as the season develops. One nice touch that I've liked in this season is that Dexter's pain from the bullet wound is in the left side of his chest, which is where the heart is, and I don't think that's been done by mistake. Dexter's pain throughout these 5 episodes has been because he's not known how to approach his son and he's basically been heartbroken. It was even shown to us when Harrison stormed out during the beginning and he held his chest in pain. There was a line in this episode that also stuck out to me that Mia said, which was, "It sucks when you can't be honest with the people that are closest to you." I thought this was going to be a poignant line that connected to Dexter and Mia forming a strong connection because she believed him to be Red, but it actually turned out to be heavily connected to Charlie and her mother who seemed to be dying in hospital on her own. It seems like Charlie is lying to her mother about what she does for a living, so it's going to be interesting to see how that story ends up tying into the wider plot. Mia. One of the main reveals in this episode was that Mia didn't actually have a code and that she was just as messed up as the rest of the killers at Prater's dinner, where whilst she might have originally killed for the sake of defending her sister and preventing abusers from being on the streets, she ultimately ended up getting a taste for murder and wanting to just kill people for fun, which only made Dexter realize that he was an anomaly even more. He thought that he had a connection with her, but he knew that he had to stop her from killing, just like he did Lowell. However, he realized that he couldn't kill her because if he did it, it would just look suspicious to both Charlie and also Leon Prater. So instead, he broke into her flat, put Ryan's watch in her box so she'd be framed for his murder, and he also called the police so that she'd be caught in the act whilst trying to kill somebody, meaning that she ended up behind bars. In the previous episode, we heard about somebody that went to jail because they broke the rules, and they ended up winding up dead after one day. So there was definite fear within Mia when she spoke with Charlie. However, she revealed that she wasn't going to tell any secrets or incriminate anybody, including Leon Prater, and that she'd cooperate with whatever they wanted her to do. So I wonder what this means for her moving forward. Leon Prater is fully integrated into the police department, and he's done a fundraiser for the past decade. So I wonder if he's going to be able to pull a few strings to get her out of there. Mia being completely different to Dexter is a direction that I thought was interesting for the show to take, because it did truly show us that Dexter is almost one of a kind in this world, and whilst sharing traits and being able to sit in a room with some of the sickest and most evil people that there are, within his own mind he's able to differentiate himself and put himself on another level. With her being framed for the murder of Ryan, I reckon we'll see that story opening up even further, and the likes of Detective Wallace and Batista will be digging deeper. So I reckon Batista might end up showing her a photo of Dexter, and she might end up finding out that he's not red like he's been saying that he is. Leon Prater. Within the episodes, he's not had tons of screen time, but the most important thing that we've seen with him is that he walks on both sides of the law. Investing money in the New York Police Foundation, paying off the mortgage of people that adopt from the foster home that he was raised in, but on the flip side, also hosting a dinner for serial killers and collecting the trophies that they take from their victims. Within this episode, we found out that his mother and father died when he was younger, which led him to end up in the foster home. It was positioned as an accident, and the swift work of the police department was what led him to want to support the foundation. However, I actually think that this is a cover-up story. The lady that was interviewing him said, "Leon Prater, who are you?" And it rang out twice in the episode. We don't truly know who he is, so this question's applicable to us too. All we know is that he's the complete opposite to the person that he projects outwardly towards the public. I think the story around his parents is a lie, and I think he had a hand in their death. He's got this fascination with killers, and it seems like it stemmed from somewhere. Maybe it's his weird way of being able to deal with what he did to his parents all those years ago. I don't quite know how he would have done it. I've not delved into the theory that deep yet, but I'm calling it now. My review of the episode. I thought this was a solid episode of the show. Episode 4 was longer than usual as it was over an hour, and it developed the plot forward by almost transitioning us into the second act by introducing us to all of these serial killers. But what this episode did was it reined it in slightly, gave it a bit more focus, and it was more so about the relationships between Dexter and Harrison and Dexter and Mia. One failed and the other thrived and looked like it was going to be improving moving forward. One thing that we've not had in this show for a couple of episodes is that darkness that I think makes it so good. The likes of Harrison's hallucinations, where they're almost jump scares, would get me every time, so I'd like to see that just a little bit more. The next episode seems like it's going to be focused around Dexter going after Gareth, and I think that'll be interesting to watch unfold as I'm intrigued to see what type of killer he'll be. In my opinion, this show isn't only stylistic in its visual approach, but it also is with its storytelling too. I'm hooked with every scene change and the complexity that we've been seeing with the relationship with Dexter and his son, but also within his own mind about battling with how he's been drifting away from his code slightly. It's just gripping me so much, and the runtime just absolutely flies by. It's one of the best things on TV right now. Don't you agree? So, there you have it. Dexter Resurrection Episode 5 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos on Dexter Resurrection being broken down, then don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be covering the show every week moving forward. What did you think of this week's episode? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.